Most guys fall apart when they travel. And this is something I hear all the time from clients, from potential clients or friends of mine. It's like, dude, I have this event coming up, or maybe you're traveling for real estate or business or a sales conference, or maybe you're, going on a business trip, personal trip, vacation, wedding, whatever it is. Okay. I traveled for years, where I stayed pretty much out of a suitcase for about 80% of the year for like 2 years. And I developed a rhythm and a system because if you travel for business or travel for work, or pleasure or family or whatever it is, staying fit and staying on track is not optional. You cannot take a week off, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off. And so in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I travel, what I pack, what I bring, how I prepare, where I stay, how I train. And ultimately, this is going to bring you an immense amount of value because on your next trip, you can use this exact formula so that you stay dialed. And not only do you look great, but you feel great. And I'm going to give you everything I got in this video. All right. So let's jump in. All right. So most people use travel as an excuse. They say, well, this is the reason why I can't stay locked into my program, or this is the reason I can't even start a program because maybe I travel too much. But here's the thing. Real power comes from being the same man everywhere you go. Like being consistent everywhere you go, whether you're home or you're at your gym, or whether you're at a wedding, or you're on a sales trip or whatever. It's like you have to be the same guy everywhere you go. That's where you step into that new identity, that new self-image of like, this is my lifestyle. And so it's not about being perfect. It's just about being prepared. All right. So first things first, this is what I bring in my bag whenever I go anywhere. All right. I bring my supplements, my protein bars. Maybe I bring shakes with me, but I mean, as far as supplements go, right, it's magnesium, it's D3, K2, it's my creatine, lots of creatine with me all the time. I also bring salt, right, for hydration, for energy. I always take my salt water in the morning, first thing out of bed. The other thing is a shaker cup. Okay. I bring this with me everywhere. So I measure my water with this. I teach my guys like, have a way to measure your water, but also have a way to stay hydrated. You don't want to ever end up somewhere and be like, oh, I got to spend $5, $10 on water. And then you make an excuse, then you're like, oh, I just don't feel like it, or I don't want to, or whatever. But it's like, if you always have a shaker cup with you for water, that's going to be massive. Okay. The other thing is, the shoes, right? So you can see these are well worn, right? This is a Nike Pegasus, and this is a Pegasus Gore-Tex. So I have these two pairs, and I bring these with me, one of these, depending on what country I go to, everywhere I go. Because if you don't have the right shoes with you, it's like, how are you supposed to, oh, it's raining, I can't go outside and get my run or my walk or my hike in, or oh, I only brought, dress shoes and maybe like some sneakers that aren't super comfy, so I'm not going to maybe wear them to the gym. So I just won't train. Or and making sure that you bring stuff that not only is comfortable, but something that you can use in any conditions. All right. So the first thing I do when I land, right, and I'm about to go on a trip to Arizona. So when I go to Arizona, I'm going to do this exact same thing. After that, I'm going to Panama City. And then spending some time there, staying in an apartment. So I'm going to do the exact same thing there. But the first thing I do when I land is I go to a supermarket. Okay. Usually I'll ask the Uber driver when I get there, or ask the Airbnb host or whoever I'm staying at, wherever I'm staying. I'll check with them and I'll just say, okay, where's the nearest supermarket where I can get some good, healthy snacks and things like that. And then what I'm doing is I'm getting fruit, I'm getting yogurt, probably gonna get some cheese. I'm probably gonna get some protein bars. I'm probably gonna get some honey. I'm probably gonna get, some oatmeal or some eggs or something like that, so I can make a good, healthy breakfast every morning. And that's the other thing, is you always want to stay somewhere with a kitchen. You always want to stay somewhere with a fridge. Okay. You never want to stay somewhere where there's no kitchen and no fridge, because then you're totally hooped. I mean, at worst case scenario, a fridge, because then you can at least get like some yogurt, fruit, like dark chocolate. You can buy butter. You could buy, we're talking a 2-day trip to a 2-week trip. Like, even if you're there for 2 days, it's like in 2 days, you can have a terrible 2 days because you're like, oh, I ate this crappy breakfast at a hotel, or I I ended up going to an amazing breakfast. Maybe I went to a $50 buffet or $100 buffet, and then you end up just like gorging yourself on all this food, right? And then you end up going like, oh, dude, this 2 day trip like totally threw me off. And then once you kind of step down to say like, oh, I'm gonna lower my standard on what I'm eating, then all of a sudden you're lowering your standard on maybe I'm gonna drink on the trip, right? And this brings me to another point is alcohol. Like, and this was not, I did not intend to talk about this because I did a whole video on alcohol, but drinking when you're traveling is one of the things that will also throw you off more than anything, because then you're going to eat food you shouldn't be eating. You're probably never going to train because you're going to wake up and you're going to feel like crap right in the morning. But it's also a way to save money. Like if you're on your trip and all you're doing is focusing on drinking, or how many cocktails can I have with the guys, or how many even in the airport. Like I used to years ago, I used to get to an airport and the first thing I do is I check in and I go have a beer. Or I'd go find a place to have a drink. Then I'd have 2 drinks, 3 drinks. Then I'd be on the plane and I'd be drinking on the plane. This was what I used to do. And I thought, oh, this is normal. This is what most people do, especially when you're in business and stuff. It's like, oh, I'm on a business trip. So like, let me have a few drinks and have, maybe wear something nice. I'm wearing some nice clothes. I'm sitting at a nice lounge in the airport. You know what I mean? This is the opposite of what you want to do. What you should do instead is grab a protein bar, a piece of fruit, a sugar-free energy drink, or better yet, a coffee, and then go throw in some headphones, right? And get noise canceling headphones. Okay. That's another tip for traveling, is always get a good pair of noise canceling headphones. I don't have my Bose with me right here, but I have a nice pair of Bose headphones that I take always. And then you can do work calls, right? While you're walking, you can walk in the airport. I usually I'll go to my gate and then I'll find what's the furthest distance that I can walk before I have to be back here to get on my plane and board. And I'll do work calls in the airport. I'll listen to podcasts. I'll watch, something good on YouTube. Right now it's the playoffs, so I might watch a few hockey highlights or something like that. But I'm walking, I'm moving. I'm not just sitting there eating greasy food and drinking beer waiting for my plane. Like, I'm actively moving around. So that also comes down to like, what do you wear when you travel? Like I see guys traveling in boots and jeans and all this stuff. I wear comfy running shoes, comfy track pants, comfy sweatpants, like tech fleece type stuff, where I'm never hot, I'm never cold. I can be active, and I can run around and stay in that like good vibration, like that good rhythm, right? And then I get on the plane, and then that's a whole nother story. But this is the mentality that I developed as I was dialing in this lifestyle and being like, how can I make this a sustainable long-term lifestyle? What things do I need to change, and what habits do I need to rearrange? Because I knew that I couldn't keep doing things the way I did before. I had to make some changes. All right, so another one, like we've already talked about staying active in the airport and these types of things, but when you get there, okay, or before you get there, let's go to before you get there. Look where you're staying. Maybe you're staying at maybe it's an Airbnb, maybe it's a hotel. Maybe it's in a city, maybe it's in a remote location, maybe you won't have as many amenities, but you always want to call ahead or reach out to whoever it is that's in charge of the place you're staying and ask them, is there a gym? Where's the closest gym? Okay. The next thing is you go on Google and you literally type in gyms, and you go down and you go to the area on Google Maps and you see like, okay, there's a Mountainside Fitness over here. There's a Gold's Gym over here, or there's a Power Club, or whatever it is, right? And then you set yourself up to go, okay, maybe you check out the website. Maybe you just have a quick look, takes 2 minutes. And then you're like, okay, this is where I'm going to train. This is where I'm going to be. And, if you're lucky and your Airbnb or your hotel has a gym, look at the photos, or even call the hotel and ask them like, hey, what are the hours for the gym? Is there a cold plunge? Is there a sauna? Is there a steam room? Like what are the things I have, so that you're mentally prepared, so that you're not going there just being like, oh yeah, your excuse is like, well, they didn't really have any good place to work out, so I just didn't work out. You know what I mean? So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is what you want to do when you're there. Let's say you have no gym, or maybe you're staying out somewhere, like we stay on the Sea Pod in Cologne, in the Caribbean, right? Here in Panama, you're out there in Panama, you're on the water, there's no gym. Well, what do you have? You have a TRX, maybe that's hanging from the ceiling. You've got a floor where you can do push-ups. You might have a ceiling or a bar, where you can jump up and grab something and do pull-ups on. You might find a place to swim, right? Swimming in the ocean, swimming in a pool. But if you're just like literally in a hotel room, like I remember times where I'd be in a hotel room on the road, maybe on a tour or something like that, going between cities, seeing my teams, talking to people, visiting people, setting up meetings, setting up calls, or appointments, right? And I'm in the room and I'm just working. I'm on my phone, I'm on my laptop. I'll go down and I'll do 100 push-ups on the floor, okay, per day. Just 100 is kind of like the baseline. And then I'll also go for a 45-minute walk. So whether it's, raining, snowing, sunny, hot, cold, whatever, I'm out there and I'm getting a 45-minute walk and 100 push-ups. And that's actually going to keep you dialed and maintained, right? You may not make progress doing that. But if you walk 45 to an hour a day, every single day when you're gone, and maybe you're eating different food, maybe you're in a different climate, different elevation, different temperature, you're drinking lots of water, maybe the food there is super healthy. Like I know that I've gone on trips and come back leaner than I was before. And it's crazy because I'm like, dude, like I should, this is one of the things that actually made me fall in love with living abroad and being, what you would consider maybe like more of a digital nomad, where I did live in different countries and I traveled around a lot. I mean, now I've been in the same place here for like almost a year, and I love it. But it allowed me to kind of fall in love with that lifestyle, being like, you know what, I have a system and I have a way so that I can still, feel the way I want, look the way I want, have the right energy, the right mindset, the right mental health, but I can do it anywhere in the world. All right. So the last thing I'm going to say is, if you're a high performer and you know it, and you're like, dude, I'm living this lifestyle and I'm gonna be healthy. I'm gonna be playing sports in my 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Like I'm gonna be surfing, golfing, biking, running, swimming, running around with my kids, my grandkids, hiking. Like I see guys in their 70s and 80s that are hiking like unbelievable, hills, and then they're in the gym, and then they're biking, and then they're golfing, surfing, swimming, all these things. If that's the way that you see yourself. I know for me, like my strategy is longevity. My strategy is like reverse aging, where I could just be that guy later on in my life. And so right now in my 30s, it's building that foundation and building those habits. Like if that's you, right, then this is what I want you to do, is drop a comment and just let me know, like, what is your biggest challenge right now with your health and fitness, or your overall wellness, maybe your mental health, even on the road, or when it comes to travel, right? Let me know your biggest challenge. And then also, subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to continue to leave value like this for you guys every week. I'm going to continue to make videos that are specifically for you. And I want to make sure that everything I do, and every, all the things that I've learned on this journey, this amazing journey of life that I've been on, I want to be able to pass on this stuff and give you just these formulas. Like, hey, here's a 10-minute video that's going to change, the next 10 years of your life. Because now when you travel, you don't have to try to guess. You don't have to try to figure it out. You don't have to be like everybody else. I think ultimately, what I love about this channel and what we're doing in the community we're building is, this is not for everyone. This is not for the common man. This is not for, the guy that just wants to be like everyone else, or is afraid what people think, or is afraid of maybe stepping out of their comfort zone, or investing in themselves, investing in their future. This is for the uncommon man. This is for you when you're watching this and you're going like, you know what? I do want to level up. I do want to be elite. I do want to be top 1% of 1%, in these areas, and really, come up and elevate to that place where you authentically know you should be. So subscribe to the channel. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm excited that you watched this and you took the time to see this information and catch these strategies. And then also go follow me on Instagram, go follow me on Facebook, follow me here on YouTube, follow me on LinkedIn, and let me know how I can help you. If there's anything else that you want to know, any questions that you have, just go ahead and leave a comment or reach out to me directly. All right, guys. So enjoy your next trip. I know it's going to be amazing. I got a trip coming up in 3 days. I'm excited for. I'm about to start packing right now, here this weekend, and get ready for that. And I'll see you guys soon. All right. Take care.